Assalamu alaikum, wonderful viewers. Welcome back to another episode of the Political Hour Show here on Eco TV International, the People's Choice, where we invite politicians, youths, and women to discuss about the issues in our country here. And today, our esteemed guest is Honorable Uncle Dodou. We will talk to him shortly, but before that, you can kindly follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Sponsors are also invited. You can call on the numbers on the screen to sponsor this program. I am your host, Rohia Tuture. Assalamu alaikum, Uncle Dodou.
Alaikum salam to barakatuh, Star Rohia.
Okay. Ramadan Mubarak to you.
Madam Karim.
Hope you are fasting.
Of course.
I know you are not like the sisters.
Full as we are, fasting is not a problem for us.
Okay.
We're used to it.
No, I know that. No, but for the sisters, for them,
they have a problem with
they
fasting.
have a problem with fasting, definitely. Serious one.
I have a tactic I can give them, but maybe after the program.
Inshallah.
I will not say it on air.
All right. First of all, we would like to talk about you joining the NPP, because since you joined the NPP, it has caused quite a debate in the country here. So we would love to know about the beautiful story about you joining the NPP.
Thank you very much. It's been more than a debate. Some are not even happy with me.
Definitely.
They wish that I could have joined their parties. So seeing me declaring that I am now NPP, they're absolutely not happy. But I can say with the messages I've received, majority, they're definitely happy, and I've been warmly welcomed at the NPP party from sympathizers, supporters, the party hierarchy. It's not even what I expected, but alhamdulillah, and the messages are still forthcoming. Some are calling directly, others messages, others are sending messenger. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot, and quite a number of them have expressed their desire, their willingness to work with me directly politically, from different regions. It's going to be a very, very busy schedule for me, having to engage myself, at different levels, constituencies, go down to the wards. But I'll be very happy to do so, because that's what keeps me going, it's what gives me pleasure, serving people. I'm always happy to do that. Now, the move to NPP, it started about 3 years ago, 2023, I could say. It came from my family. We had a discussion. They wanted me to take a move to the NPP party. Some of them are NPP, others are PPP. I even have family members that are GDC. Within my family, it's very diverse.
Okay.
But they wanted me on the side of NPP. I inquired why. They said to them, I have some potentials, I have some human resource that they feel the country needs. Yeah. And it does not have to be only on the side of opposition, but I can serve with the ruling party. There's a lot that they can benefit from. I did engage some other elderly people, in politics. I have colleagues and people who definitely shared love. Some at the time told me, where APRC would love you to stay with APRC, but we can't force you. And others told me, you have our blessings. Anywhere you go, we're behind you. That's the assurances I've been having. And I engaged some elderly people, even non-politicians. Some are businessmen, others, even religious leaders. Why I did engage those people, it emanated from 2021. There was a time I wrote on my Facebook page that I want to take a break from politics to sort out some family issues. That lasted for a few hours. A lot of people called, they engaged me. They said, no, I shouldn't do that. And one or two of them called me a day after and said, the decision you took yesterday, don't ever repeat that. He said, next time, engage us, we'll give you advice. Yeah. He said, though we're not politicians, but we're part of this country. And especially for you, the young folk, we can help you, achieve some of your aims. So I took their advice. That's why in 2023, I have to engage them. They all supported, they gave me the advice. Then I went to Right Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta, the APRC party leader. I met him on one-on-one. Told him the reasons from my family, and other people that are in support. He acknowledged and accepted. He advised me, even prayed for me, and said, even him, if he wants to join another party, there's nobody that can stop him. He said, and besides, we're all in alliance. We'll continue to work together. I took his advice, and I made some moves. That was at night. Early morning, I had some calls. from some of our executive members, party sympathizers. They didn't like the news that I want to go to NPP. So it became some internal, appeal that, let me say, others even, they went to the extent of, shedding tears on the phone. I got so emotional, I need to step back. And again, the information from the NPP at the time, it was election year, and if I have to resign, it might create some upheavals within the party. It could affect the campaign and all that. The advice, let's just continue. As an alliance, we work together. I took it in good faith. It was nothing personal. I just wanted to heed advice from family members and others to move on. Now, fast forward to last year, Ramadan, when I resigned from the APRC executive. Due to reasons that with the position have been very, very dormant. And I believe if you hold a position, you need to serve the people to the best of your ability. Like I used to do, it wasn't normal. People sometimes call me, are you in the country? I said, yes. We don't hear from you, we're not seeing you. So things were a bit dormant. I did not feel very, convenient or confident with that. I felt responsibilities given to me, I'm not serving as usual, and yet still some family issues were mounting, my family putting pressure. At some point in time, they felt I was stubborn, I was not heeding to their advice. So they came to the conclusion that let me forget about politics for a moment and focus with something different in life. So that's the time I said, okay, I'll have to resign from the executive. I cannot keep being dormant whilst I am holding a position, in the party. Then I resigned from my position. But I never left the party. Many political parties came knocking doors for me to join their parties. I told them I'm still a PRC. Now, including the NPP, they came at the time. I could easily have said yes and joined them, but I told them no. My family said, let me stay away from politics, and this is advice I got from few other people. 10, 11 months after, that's when the decision came for me to join the NPP. And again, I reached out to people, sought their advice. Some told me you should have done this long time ago. But I said, due to circumstances, in politics, you can't have it all by yourself. There are people that also have a stake in what you do, what you say. And I always share with them, including those that I work with closely. In politics, I have a team of young people, elderly, that believe in me, that I work with. I always seek their advice. I share opinions with them, and I listen to what they have to say. But this time around, it's like most of them have consented. That's when I made the move.
Okay, well, this story is really interesting. And also, that one moment that you've decided that you will join NPP from now on, you've been a member of the APRC party for a very long time, and everybody can attest that you have love for the party. So since you decided to join the NPP, how do you feel at that moment? And since you break the message to the members of the APRC, how do they feel and how do you cope with the emotions at that moment?
Well, it's not something instant. Like you said, it started about 3 years ago. And most of them, they are aware. There are some who've been saying, no matter how long it takes, it's going to move away. Because in the forums, some time and again, they'll call me and appeal, please do not leave the party. We really believe in you, and we believe with you there's a future for the party. So sometimes, the signal they're getting, this guy is not very active like he used to. Some things are not going right, they're not going well with him. They foresee that he'll move. But came the news when they heard about it. In fact, when I made the move, it was never announced. Even NPP never did officially.
Okay.
Yeah, this happened a few months ago, about, I could say end of last year, around December, end of November going to December, that's when it happened. But out of respect for the alliance, the NPP, they did not make any official announcement. But I've joined their team. I've started going to the grassroots. I've started going to, the provinces, attending events, and people have started seeing videos. They're seeing a different tone. Now, the guy who has been silent, it's now with the NPP team. He's going to the grassroots because they're seeing videos being shared on the social media. Some started reaching out. What we're saying, it's like you've moved. I said yes, but it's not announced because they don't want the alliances to feel like they're taking their own people. It's no pressure from them. It's a decision that I took personally, but the leadership of the NPP have engaged me. We sat and discussed. They even have to reach out to the leadership of the APRC, tell them, well, chairman, we want to work with Dodou, if you would give the green light. And the party leader says, of course, he has been wanting to do this for a very long time. He has our blessings, he can move on. So it was something like others would call it cross-carpet, etc. I did engage, and I followed the right protocols. But still, some of them up to date, they're not happy. They feel it's a big loss for the party. Equally, there are lot of memories. The APRC have given me so many opportunities politically. There are people that we've built a strong bond out of politics, through the APRC. Some still, they tell me that they can't believe it. They feel that I have to come back. I said, coming back, I've already moved on. But others are saying, we're behind you. Anywhere we go, we're going to follow. They told me, even if you leave politics, we are going to hang our boots and we'll also say goodbye to politics. So that's a stake that I realized that I had in this country from 2021. When I had that break that I wanted to take from politics, the amount of people that reach out, the messages, people tell me, I can't even have dinner today. Some told me I can't sleep. Others sent me audios crying, not only in the Gambia, those in the diaspora. I said, wow, I didn't know I am worth this much in this country, especially when it comes to politics. That helped me, to take a stronger footing, especially when it comes to serving country. I do it beyond politics. I don't see myself only as a politician. I see myself as a patriot that owe it to this country, that I have to do whatever it takes, at least to contribute meaningfully to whatever is happening around us. But it's not been easy. I have some audios that, through WhatsApp from the APRC forums, if I share with you, it's very, very emotional.
Okay, and also I would like to say, may Allah help you through this journey, inshallah.
Ameen, and thank you.
You mentioned earlier you've been going to the grassroots level. How has it been and how is the progress? How do you see the party, NPP?
Well, it's been very progressing and very fruitful. I understand the game of grassroots politics. That's where every party, your strength is. That's where the votes are. These are the people who are more organized than even those at the top, where you meet the campaigns, the youth groups, the council of elderly, the scaffolds, etc. Different setups. They all have their own ambitions. Now, I'll give some of the tactics. I wouldn't mind, even those that are not NPP, they can explore that. When you go to the grassroots, mostly two things are involved. There are those that are part of the party for a very long time. They have their challenges and obstacles. They're not happy. Now, they've taken a back from politics. And if you don't reach out to them, eventually they could go to other political parties or they could even vote against you. Now, when you reach out to the grassroots, two things happen. They'll tell you their grievances, their challenges, the problems they have. You listen keenly. And another thing is they'll tell you the things they want, where they want to be, what support that they need. So you have two responsibilities. The challenges, the problems, how do you solve that? How do you sort it out to bring them back to the party or to engage them more so that they become active, because you need their votes. Now, on the other hand, the things that they are demanding, where they want to be, what they need, how are you going to provide that? Which again tells you that politics is very expensive. It requires quite a lot of resources, human resource, financial resource, technical advice, and host of other things. So it's where politics become very tough and rough at times. Sometimes you go to them, you don't hear, very welcoming words. The words are not nice because they are not happy. So they will throw it at you. Messages they want the president to hear and the party hierarchy, they will bring it at you. So you need to compose yourself. And it's always fragile. You must know how to handle it. You can either make it or break it. So that's where the technicalities lie. But it's been very, very fruitful, and a lot of groups and CAFOs who have never been happy. I'm not working a lot. I'm working especially with the deputy campaign manager. We're backed and supported by the nephew of the president, Amadou Sane. I'll have to make mention of them and thank them very much because they've been very supporting and also, coming to the aid of the groups, the people, the masses, even individuals. We're going after everybody. We want everybody on board, those that have been there, those that want to come on board, because the target is we're working on having 75% victory. This is the target. In politics, you cannot say this can never be possible. No. Target or aim very high and you work very hard to see what you can achieve.
Like
there are others who will tell you, no, that is not possible. Now, a real politician, you must be ambitious, and you should always target big. If you need 50%, widen it to 60, 70. You might not get the exact percentage you need, but you can come very close to it if you work very hard.
And during the tour too, I normally see your updates. You've been updating continuously, and there was this one particular village. I forget the name, but they welcomed His Excellency President Barrow.
Gambisara.
Gambisara, exactly. Yeah, they came out in large numbers.
Yes.
You were even shocked about the large numbers, and everything that was done there was sponsored by the people.
By them, exactly.
Yeah. So, can you tell us about that village and the welcoming of the president?
Well,
there?
in the first place, going to tour, it's a vast experience. You'll meet different people. You go to different communities. So it's different from when you're only around the combos. You know, it gives you a wealth of experience about the different status quo when it comes to politics in this country. Gambisara is a place I've been going for a very long time. Yeah. You know, it was a stronghold for the APRC since the days of Jame. And in most cases, they have meetings. It's normally done within the, village itself. But the area is not very big to accommodate very large numbers. But this time around, they took it to the outskirts. There's a very big field. That's also meant for the community. Now, upon arrival, the crowd we saw, I was really saying, wow, did they invited the whole of URR to gather here, or what happened? And the people of Gambisara, some of them are not much into politics. You organize activities, they don't attend. They'll tell you, okay, we support you, we'll vote for you, but you don't see them actively participating in politics. And that's what happened that day. The crowd, itself, when they came out in large numbers, I said, wow, this is very massive. I've never seen this in my political career, seeing it for the first time. And I engaged the organizers. They said over $1 million that they spent. And at a very short span, it was not supposed to be a very big meeting. They just wanted to invite the president. And it was not even part of the tour itinerary, but they have to fit it in so that the president would come there. They show him some of the developments that the community is doing for themselves. Those in the diaspora, those, in the Gambia here, they are contributing and they are doing so many social projects, for the community itself. But seeing that crowd, the crowd was definitely amazing. When I had that interview, I made mention of that. Some doubted me. Others have to challenge me, yes, because we know you want to join NPP. That's why you're saying this to please the president. The next day, I have to post the video itself. That's when others said, wow, we really believe what you're saying. And I told people, I said, I have no interest, to exaggerate in politics or to massage anybody's ego or to please people. I say it as it is. A lot of people don't like it, but there are others who have to say it. So I don't do that eye service or trying to please people. I say it as it is. Whatever information I give is always factual, and I have evidence for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, now we'll move on to the Ceprass survey results. Yeah, that one too is very interesting because since it came out, a lot of people were talking about it. You even enter the vehicles, people will be talking about it. It has caused quite a stir in the country. So, what is your take on that?
I was very happy with the Ceprass survey, not on general terms, but it rescued me somehow. Because I've been on political platforms, discussions. They've been asking, what's your take, about the 2026 presidential elections? His Excellency President Barrow with his alliance, the opposition, the new movements, the emerging parties, etc. I said, tomorrow, if we go to the polls, President Barrow is going to win. People said, okay, he's looking for position. This man is not reliable. He's a hypocrite. They've been attacking him, saying so many things. So when the survey came out, 46% to the president. I said, well, I wasn't lying. What I said was based on facts. But there are other factors. Most of the opposition, about the 46%, it didn't go down well with them, because especially some who are on the fight that Barrow must go. So if they see 46%, whilst the opposition is around 20%, some are having 2%, 1%, that didn't go down well with them. They were never happy. But on the other aspects about the level of democracy, human rights, corruption, etc., those indexes they accepted. For them, the survey was right. But the president has 46%, they couldn't agree to that. But that is quite normal. I believe in surveys, and from experience, let's go down to the local government elections 2023. The same surveys came and said the opposition would sweep the urban areas, Banjul, KM, West Coast. I was among those who said, no, that can't be possible. In the history of this country, that has never happened. From Jawara to Jamet to Barrow, that's going to happen. I definitely didn't believe. But when the results were out, there it goes, they swept it. I said, then surveys is not only based on masses, these are based on facts. It's random sampling, though. You can't get everybody involved. In every country, that's what they do. But the perception of the people, normally that's what turns out. People are telling you what they want, what they think, what they want to do, what they believe. You don't undermine them. That's one thing I learned about surveys. So I've learned my lessons many years ago. So I always take it seriously. Now, perceptions are things that could change. Maybe in the long run, maybe at a very short span. Now, let's say with these survey results that have been trending, now, for instance, economic situations could change people's perception, either for good or for the worse. For instance, of recent, we're experiencing America, Israel, Iran war. Now, it depends what toll it will have on the economy. There are people who lay blame on the effects of the war. They will blame the government. And that could change their perception and say, I'm not voting for this government. So that's the one reason that people need to understand about perception. But for me, there are pointers, both for the government, areas that are highlighted, you're not doing well, you need to improve, do very well. Areas that they've marked that you're trying well, try to improve on that. Do not downplay it, do not undermine it. Pointers will always help you in order to do the right thing, to adjust and even do better. For the opposition, likewise, let them work on areas where they have challenges. And I believe they are doing that. So for me, the Ceprass, the survey has pushed everybody, put them on their toes, and we're hoping some are walking, others are running, others are jumping. I believe everybody is doing something. Yes.
But also, some also argue that the Ceprass survey result will not determine the outcome of the 2026 presidential election. So how do you take that?
Could be, might not be. But my stance is it will. Hands down. I've just recently from tour. And after the Ramadan, we're going on another tour. This one about road projects. After that, there's another tour we'll embark on. Again, the road projects. After that comes the Meet the People tour again. Then the presidential campaign. 5 tours in the year. 1 gone, 4 are pending. And going to the regions, especially with the rural electrification project. Hands down for all the regions, from Banjul to the rest of the regions, the president is going to win. The challenge, maybe the obstacle would be for KM and West Coast. And we're working and we'll continue to work very hard, even for those regions. You know, we're hopeful that we will win. So with or without Ceprass, I've been saying it, you know, these are based on facts. And if you engage people, you go on tour, the level of promises and assurances people are giving is definitely, you know, more than even what we definitely expect, especially for the rural electrification. You know, it will go a long way to re-elect His Excellency President Adama Barrow.
So you are completely certain that the president will win the 2026 election. What if the opposition parties come together, form a coalition, and election comes?
With a grand coalition, it will reduce the margin. Without a grand coalition, he's going to win massively. Because whenever you have a coalition, parties, movements, groups coming together, it increases their numbers. And once their numbers increase, 2 things happen. Either yours will decrease somehow, or it will be maintained to a certain percentage where you used to be. So it will break the gap. You know, it will definitely close the deficit based on the 2021 presidential election. But I'm very hopeful that His Excellency President Adama Barrow, with the Grand Alliance, are going to win any grand coalition. You know, it's like there are so many advantages. Like I mentioned, the projects that are ongoing, and it's still not complete. It's definitely an added advantage to the incumbent. And these are promises from 2021. When he said it, people said, no, he can do it. He's just campaigning his politics. And he's delivering now. And you can, if you go to the rural Gambia, you'll feel the impact of these projects, from the people. And maybe to give you a historical background of this electrification project, which a lot of Gambians are not aware of. Electricity in this country dated back to 1816 during colonial.
Yeah.
That's when Gambia have access to electricity. Now, at the time, very few communities, mainly in the capital, and few combos, key places that had access to electricity. Then came the PPP regime. It's a continuous process. There and then, that even when the OMVG, the project started, came through Jammeh's time. Now, from 1816 to 2016 is a period of 200 years. 223 communities had access to electricity within a span of 200 years. Now, from 2019 to 2025, 6 years, 414 communities has access to electricity. 200 years, 223. 6 years, 414 communities. Almost double the number.
Yeah.
Now, we expanded into 2026 around January, coming to early February. It catapulted to 719 communities that has access to electricity. Now, let me put it this way. From colonial to 2016, 200 years, 60% within the Gambia had access to electricity. Now, after 6 years, within 6 years, another 30% had access to electricity, making it 90%. Now, only 10% in this country are yet to have access to electricity. And in the next 6 months, before the end of this year, 2026, the whole Gambia is going to be electrified. That is massive. It's historic. Now, it became possible through 2 projects. Some are saying it's the OMVG project.
Yeah.
It's not the OMVG project. It is the EcoRIP. EcoRIP is ECOWAS Rural Electrification Access Project. ECOWAS, they say they've taken the initiative that within the rural countries, within ECOWAS countries, everywhere, they should have access to electricity. Yeah. Now, this is through the support of World Bank Group, European Union, the European Union Investment Bank, and other partners. They have, raised an amount of $225 million for 3 countries, Mali, Guinea-Bissau, and the Gambia. And the Gambia have received $66 million out of the 225. In other words, if you divide it into 3, we receive less. And Gambia is the first to finish the phase of this project. We have completed ours compared to Mali and Guinea-Bissau. Others would tell you, no, Gambia is smaller. If you compare Mali to Bissau, they're bigger. That is not the issue. It's about efficiency and doing things diligently and also very much timely. That is one aspect of the project. Then comes the JAM project. JAM is Gambia Electricity Restoration and Modernization Project, which also has started around 2019, coming to date. And through which the government has also additionally, pumped in $400 million to support this project. So not only relying on donors and partners to fund the project, but it's also taking a responsibility to say, this is what I can also contribute. It is through this project that the whole country is going to be electrified. Now, let me also make this clear. There are people who said, okay, those around Jambanjeli, going to Tujareng, if you need a pole, you pay. You pay for the meters. But those in the rural areas, they're getting it for free or cheaply. Yes, that's the initiative of the World Bank. They said rural access. So they focus on more to smaller communities and less privileged communities. So some are even having this, NAWEC meters for free. So others have been charged as little as 500 or a bit on top of that. So it's not from the government. It's those that are giving the funds who design the project, and that's what they have decided. Let them not feel they're segregated or otherwise, but this is from the donors, this is from those that are funding the project, and not only electricity. Water also is part of it. Like I said, road networks is continuous. We're seeing feeder roads that even should have been the responsibility of the councils, but government has taken the initiative of doing it for the people. Now, based with all these projects put together, Gambians are going to vote for His Excellency President.
Yeah, and people and also some opposition parties are arguing that the President of the Republic of Gambia, President Barrow, is politicizing this project because it was not approved during his term. It was approved in 2015. So him politicizing this is something that he should not be doing. What is your response to that?
Well, people need to understand how projects work,
Okay.
especially if you talk about a whole country. When you initiate a project, you always have a plan. And when it is funded by people that are not government, like these institutions I have mentioned, they bring in some expertise from their end, supervisors. There is what you call an implementing unit. There's an monitoring and evaluation unit, and all of the sectors. They all work together closely. These are not things you run. You rush. It is timely. Sometimes at some point in time, projects can be on a standstill based on funds. It takes time to transfer or to wire these funds. It takes time to implement certain issues, especially materials that you might need. These are things you need to import. Is a time frame. That's why I said the project target was from 2019 to 2025. So if they tell you 2019 to 2025, they will not give you the funds at once. It's in phases. Yeah, when you complete this phase, then the other funds will be pumping. Yeah. These are strategies and mechanisms, to curb corruptions, to ensure that transparency and accountability is in place. And you can't twist their hands and tell them this is how we need it or when we need it. Luckily, it coincides with election year. But politics is what? It's divided into two. Governance is politics. Day-to-day engagements of government on daily basis is politics. Again, you have partisan politics that is based on promoting party agenda and your leadership. But when it comes to governance, it's politics for everybody. These roads that are built, access to water, to electricity, it's not for the president or his party alone. This is for the entire country. So politics being played in it. Why should people divide that? When the president builds any road or his government does that, it's not, they will not say it's the NPP or his supporters that apply the road. It's for every Gambian. But again, that is the challenge when it comes to the opposition. They're not coming up with ideas. They're not selling their programs. They just stand and wait at the corner. Whatever move government does, they're looking for the negative aspects of it or where they can pin you, then they come putting up those points. Like these women enterprise fund, 50 million. They're still crying about it. They're still crying about it. But as an opposition, whatever government does, if it's positive, it's for national interest. You need to complement. At the end of the day, you cry foul. What's happening? It's happening. And they need to be digging sources, find out why did it take that long. If they have dug into it, they will not blame government for that. But like I said, if somebody gives you their money, they have a say in how things are done. And most of these things are documented. If you have access, to this project documents, you would see the time frame, the duration. And again, the project could have challenges and lapses. You can say the target is 2 years. Sometimes it exists more than that, due to one reason or another. Let's say you have a contractor that is in charge of it. Along the way, you fall out with the contractor or the contractor demises or something else happens. It will take more time to implement, especially if you have to assign to another contractor. If somebody comes in new, they'll have to check where you started. Was it done accordingly? Is it up to standards? On all these are issues, like I said, monitoring and evaluation. And you have the project implementing unit. You have different factors. And sometimes most of these is not even spearheaded by Gambians, but those who are funding the project, they bring in this expertise to make sure where they put in their money is worth it, is valued, and the end result will be the desired goal that they want.
Okay. Now, we'll be moving on to one of the most talked about issues in the country here, which you just mentioned. 50 million dollars fund.
Wow.
So now, about this $50 million fund, many people argue that it should not only be for the NPP women, but rather for all Gambians. Yeah. So what is your take on that?
Well, like I said, as opposition, people need to open up, to dig and make sure they get their sources accurately, and not just to focus that I am against government, I want government out. So anything I can use against them, you capitalize on that. Gambians are very reasonable people. They think, they listen, they ponder, and when they see the facts, it's what sometimes downplays the opposition when it comes to trying to convince Gambians that we need your votes. Now, government, through the Ministry of Gender, they have the same initiative, Women Enterprise Fund. Every year, these budgets are approved by Parliament. The last time I checked, it was 95 million that was allocated to the Minister of Gender to support women. And this has been ongoing. It didn't start now. Some of it is through grants. They're supporting these CAFOs, etc. Not everybody receive cash. Some of them is these milling machines they will buy and take to communities or to give to certain CAFOs. They might embark in it, have little tokens, charges here and there. Some are meant to, in a form of a loan, and they pay back, at a very flexible time. And in most cases, they don't attach interest because it's meant to support people. But in the past, there are so many CAFOs that through the Minister of Gender that took loans, and up to date, they never paid. What can you do? You can't take them to the police or take them to the court because you want to support, you want to help. But they've enjoyed, they benefited from these funds and never paid back. This government has experience. Now, NPP, if you go to their activity plan, this Women Enterprise Fund is not happening this year. It has been there for the previous years. I've known people from 2021 that have been benefiting, but the amount has never reached to 50 million. Now, let's say, for instance, if they said 1 million, you will not hear any noise. Now, the question is they're asking, where is this money coming from?
The source is the problem here.
That is the power of incumbency. Being in APRC, we've been in governance. Most of these things are not new to us. But those on the side of opposition, they've never been in governance, they still can't understand. That's why they continue to cry foul. Some have gone to the extent and said the president shouldn't have been in the launching. It is against the laws of the country. Section 33 says this is segregation, discrimination. Hello, this is not government of the Gambia. It's called National People's Party. Every political party have a right. He is the head of state, yes. Okay. He's again the Secretary General and leader of the NPP. So being president should deprive you from attending party functions when in this country. And which law says that? They're mixing apples and oranges. Yeah, whatever is meant for government is taking good care of that. Whatever is meant for the party, it is the party's business how to dispose it. It has to be very clear. Now, come to the NPP. They're saying they're charging people for membership card in order for you to be entitled to receive this. Membership card has been ongoing. This is for registration. Opposition parties are doing the same. It helps you to know the strength of your grassroots and how many people have registered. Politics is about numbers, and data is very key. It's very important. It even helps you in your activity plan, your action plans, etc. That's what the NPP is doing, like everybody else. Is it only women that are registering for membership card? Absolutely not. Even the men are doing this. So that is party business. Now, them coming with the initiative, they've made it very clear. This Women Enterprise Fund is not going to any individual. You must have a business. And you must have a CAFO, that is a group of people that they will benefit. They're not giving it to individuals. They're giving it to groups. And during the launching, the president made it very clear. His Excellency President Alabama said, the NPP and alliance partners, are they going to ask alliance partners for membership cards? No. It is their party. Those that belong to the NPP, they want to know that these are NPP. They want to differentiate from alliance partners. And it is their prerogative. They own their party. They can decide what they want to do. Why should the opposition tell NPP what to do and how to do it? Source of the money. There is no law. Even though around 2021, the IEC, the Independent Electoral Commission, came up with a law that they wanted to introduce about campaign financing. That any political party, as far as its election matters, they want to know where your source of funding is coming from, where did you get it, and all that. But the political parties, they said no. You can engage the IEC. Sambojang Jai was at the helm of issues. The parties toned it down. Now, if you want to cry foul today, something that you never want to be in place in the first place, and even opposition parties, who is going after them, asking them where you're getting from your funds? Now, being incumbent, let me give a breakdown. The NPP have about 22 members of parliament. Now, the party has took it to itself that each member of parliament will contribute 10,000 from their salaries every month. Yeah. Not only the NPP, even opposition parties do the same. GDC used to do it. UDP also does it. But those who never have a single person in parliament, they have not been able to have that practice. When we were in APRC, we did the same. Even ministers used to contribute. And NPP is doing the same. Now, take for instance, these members of parliament, 22 of them, 10,000 a month. That's about $220,000 a month. Within a span of about 4 years is over $10 million. Just the MPs. Those in foreign service, ministers, others that are employed, sympathizers, and people do know that in the diaspora, the fundraisers that the NPP have done, both diaspora nationally. You cannot sit here and say NPP cannot generate 50 million. What is 50 million in politics? And this is not something they are giving out for free. It's loan. Take the money, invest it, have your profit, pay back. We're not asking you, for any additional charges. There's no interest attached. And there are other parties that are doing it. The APRC have been doing so. Not up to 50 million, but these are strategies that other parties do. In politics, if you want to succeed, empower your own people. Because the people are the ones who get you elected. They are the ones under the sun. So if you're enjoying the shade, or the least you can do is empower your own people. But crying, the law says this, the law said that. When did the law control political parties? Not yet in this country. Campaign finance, the IEC wanted to introduce it. Everybody said no at the time. So it's like learn from the incumbent, do the same thing. Others are saying now, the NPP selling membership card for $150. If they are able to have access or reach out to 400 women in this country, 400,000 women, that is like 60 million. Very good idea. What is stopping the opposition from doing the same? They will make millions out of it. It's open policy. Nobody owns anybody here. You have your party, go to anybody, reach out to people, come up with your activities. Let's stop the blame game and pointing fingers. And there's no law that has been breached here. The president is the party leader of the National People's Party. To the extent, if he goes to party function, he does not use government vehicles. He drives NPP-1, not Gambia government or OP, Office of the President, even when it comes to vehicles. That is happening in this country for the first time. He distinguishes between politics and government functions.
I believe the message is clear now, but the time is running against us. The last on our table is, in one of SU's interviews, he mentioned that voting President Barrow beyond 2026, the country will be in disaster. So what I will ask is, will the country be in safe hands if the Barrow government is voted beyond 2026?
Of course, Gambia is a very peaceful country, and it will be in safe hands, and a lot has changed in this country. We're all enjoying it. I can sit here, attack the president, tell him whatever I want to say. For me, respectfully, of course, I wouldn't do it in a manner that is very negative. I've never been arrested. I've never been called for questioning. I've never had queries or complaints, from the party, etc. I have enjoyed it, even whilst before the alliance as APRC. I've said so many things that were happening at the time to the government, to the president, and I've been, roaming the streets of this country, traveling even to up countries. I've never been challenged for us. I have enjoyed that personally. Others can also speak for themselves. I am saying responsibility, not insulting or using derogatory language. I don't do that. But I've been holding government accountable. And up till today, as a member of the National People's Party, my own government, I will hold them accountable. As a citizen, I owe it to the country and to the people of this country. So it's not like you're part of the party, anything they do, it's okay. No, there is no perfect system, no perfect government. But beyond 2026, Gambia will be stable, will continue to enjoy development. Beyond 2026, I'm telling you. Even for road networks, the last time the president has announced it, when it comes to road networks, he said the OIC, we're seeing flyovers. He said the design is ready. Beyond flyovers, they will create another road on top of the flyovers. Okay. And people are saying, no, that is not possible. It's already designed. They're working on the forms, and it will be implemented. And I definitely believe, because I had that one-on-one with the president, and I asked, he said, yes. He said, the design is ready. Yeah. I cannot say something that is not in place. And he said, people doubted me. When I talk about electricity, road networks, access to water, they said he's doing politics. And today, who would say I'm doing politics? Again, they are saying he's doing it election year. Whatever you do, the opposition will come and complain. That is very normal. It is politics. But let's accept some national issues that is not meant for any political party, but for the whole Gambia. And it will stay. The projects that Yahya Jammeh did here, he never carried them with him. It's still here. Yeah. We're enjoying it. So the same thing. So does Sadauda Jawara, the late Sadauda. And the next coming government, it will continue. That is what development is. It's work in progress.
Right, thank you very much for joining us today. But before we leave, you can say your final word to the people out there.
Well, I have to thank you for hosting me, for inviting me, and it's not easy when it comes to media. It's very challenging. I'll have to give a shout out to the technicians, through them, their efforts, their professionalism, that people are watching and they're able to listen to us. The management, I have to wish them well. Upkeeping a media, it's very, very expensive. I know how it works. And the message to the viewers, those who follow the programs, let's all be nationalists, let's be patriotic. The Gambia belongs to us. Let's not allow politics to divide us. Let's not allow politics to give us a mentality, that will not be very positive when it comes to nation building. Like the saying goes, one Gambia, one nation, one people. This should be practicalized. Politics is about where do you belong, who do you support. It is your right. Whoever you want to vote for, you vote for them. But also accept other people's right, where they want to belong, who they want to vote for, what they say. You might agree in difference of opinion. Let it be based on facts. Somebody said something, you feel it's not okay. Come on. Come with proofs, with evidences. Try to prove them wrong. That's how it should be. The debate continues, different in opinions, the discussion. That will always happen. But at the back of our mind, Gambia is ours. All of us, we have a big stake in it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Uncle Dodou. I'm very much happy for having you here today. And inshallah, I hope to have you again
Always
for another
a pleasure.
discussion. Yeah.
Yes, you call, I answer to the call. That's how it goes.
Okay, viewers, this is how we've come to the end of the program. Here with me, Mr. Uncle Dodou. He's my uncle, so Sarah to him. And thank you very much. Viewers, you can kindly follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for more of these episodes. Inshallah, we'll be here for you, for everyone, for every political party, none is excluded. Thank you very much, and I would like to thank the management team, Maimuna, Sirifo, Usman, and Fatima. Today, I know if I did not thank them, they'll beat me. So thank you everyone behind the scene trying to do their best. Inshallah. Bye-bye.